Hello everyone. Today I'm talking about politics because shit is getting crazy down in the United States. I mean, who was really surprised? Elon Musk is not the white nationalist Giga Chad superhero that conservatives wanted him to be. And Donald Trump is taking a knee because Elon Musk is a VIP amongst the 1%. He's a tech oligarch. He controls America in the same way that fucking grocery store CEOs control Canada. And I think conservatives are upset because this hardline policy on immigration that they thought they were going to get, they're not actually going to follow through on that. And Donald Trump is not even in office yet, and he's letting people down. I think his second term is going to be infinitely more interesting and potentially destructive than his first term. I don't know what people are surprised about in terms of the anti-Indian sentiment. People have been fucking racist towards Indian people for a long time, and it's just bubbling up to the surface, and I think more people are experiencing it, and they are shocked. Justin Trudeau just resigned. They're going to be looking for a replacement. I think it's too little too late because people already have this distaste of the Liberal Party. They feel sour, they are upset about the state of the Canadian economy, and much like in the United States, potentially even more so in Canada, there's insane amounts of anti-Indian sentiment. We've grown so much in such a short amount of time here in Canada, I think because of fears of global pressure for population growth, and our population is on the decline. For me personally, I try not to get that invested in politics. I'm trans, so I experience it a lot. My identity is politicized. I feel like our specific demographic is used as a pawn in the culture war to distract from real problems. And politically, I mean, I interact with tons of people. I take issue with both sides, but I wouldn't identify as a libertarian or a centrist. I actually kind of find that like a massive ick when people just result to saying both sides are wrong, no one's right, nothing matters. I think stuff does matter, obviously, but at the end of the day, of course, I can't trick myself into becoming the next Blair White. I'm probably never going to be conservative so long as my identity is such a hot button issue for conservative people. But I certainly don't really feel comfortable on the left either when I'm used, again, in much the same way, a token piece, and people are constantly virtue signaling to the trans community while also taking very little action to support us in any meaningful way or bring about meaningful change. But I think the thing is, we're all fucking pieces of shit in our own way. We're all fucking bigots in our own way. I don't fault people for, disagreeing with me or being oppositional to me politically on the opposite side of the political spectrum. I more so get frustrated when people don't have, follow through or the right kind of stroke. When people, are going to be transphobic to me. I like that good old classic transphobia, not because you're getting caught up in this idea of politics and debate of whether it's net positive or net negative for society and its influence on culture. I would rather you just dislike trans people because you hate trannies. I think it's, kind of charming, especially when men do it. I love that because it's just easy to identify, easy to compartmentalize. I don't have to think about it much more than, what it is. This person's just transphobic, just write them off. They're not going to debate with me on anything. They just don't fuck with me. I don't fuck with them. Go our separate ways. And that's usually what I ask people. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit online and complain about me existing? Because I exist and I'm going to keep existing. Whatever. But yeah, I think the current state of affairs in the world brings about in a lot of younger people a feeling of, kind of defeat. People feel very, pessimistic about the future, which is too bad. And I mean, I'm one of them. I don't feel extremely optimistic about the future. I don't know what's going to happen to America. I don't know what's going to happen to Canada. None of these fucking billionaire CEOs have our best interests in mind. And I think recently, Luigi really unified the left and the right a lot in that regard. And I think that's a beautiful thing when we can murder somebody and come together and kind of have just thug it out together. You know what I mean? The most powerful thing for me as a trans individual was learning to like stop caring so much. And that's why I don't care about slurs. I don't care about the kind of language people use. If somebody wants to refer to me as male, I don't mind. I don't mind if someone views me as a man. None of these things matter. That was a very personal experience for me. But then once I zoomed out and started to apply that mindset to politics and society at large, I started to really care a lot less of what other people think, focus more on big picture stuff. And I think people have a real resentment towards censorship and having their thoughts policed, as do I. I think that everybody is entitled to their belief. Everybody is entitled to their religion, their culture, their way of life. As soon as that infringes on somebody else, then there's an issue, of course, there's a problem. And I think a lot of the time people infringe on my ability to exist. Of course, I'm not going to vote for somebody who could potentially limit my access to my hormones. I don't produce a primary sex hormone naturally anymore. So I need to supplement myself, my endocrine system with an external hormone. Yeah, I mean, I had this very personal experience with overcoming stress and prejudice towards me. And then I tried applying this to things further than just myself. And it makes me realize that, yeah, I mean, I really just want to focus on making music, working on cars, working on motorcycles, spending time with my loved ones, and experiencing life, because we all get caught up in like the fucking anxiety every single day of like what's gonna happen, and in this people moral grandstand now, and it fucking pisses me off because I don't want to hear about your concepts of morality. My main concern is that you're not hurting anybody, and beyond that, I don't give a shit if you're gay. I don't give a shit what color you are, what religion you are, if you're trans, straight, cis, whatever, it doesn't matter. I would just rather live my life and be allowed to live my life. That is a huge privilege, I recognize that. But the right is so sensitive to language. If you talk about things that, they don't like, that signals like something that they don't like, they have a visceral reaction and they tense up and they're like, no, I don't like that. I don't want to talk about pronouns. I don't want to talk about global warming. I don't want to talk about privilege. All of these things cause a very visceral reaction. Politicizing language, which has gotten us nowhere. It's just, we've been treading water since 2016. We were calling liberals the sensitive, triggered SJWs, and now it's the right. Another big thing that's happening in the United States is like most of America has like banned porn, which is insane. Like, I thought people generally were against censorship. And I agree with regulating pornography, but banning something outright does not seem very American. Like, why ban, for example, Pornhub, which was making huge strides to have better control over what content was on their platform, and actually making sure everybody involved was a consenting legal adult. And now you're banning that. I engage with adult content creation. Of course, I support people's right to do that and consume that. I'm not going to sit here and say that, like, we should blanket ban porn or that we should fucking, deregulate all of it. No, I think there's a middle ground, which is, again, why I come back to the whole thing of, like, it's not right versus left. You don't just pick which side you're on and then formulate your entire identity off of which side you're on. But what we should be striving to do every day is to be nice to somebody. That's what I was taught in school. And being nice is good. Being nice is like virtuous, I think. I don't know. I've been told before that being nice is not good. I'm scared that maybe like, is the state's going to turn into some like Christian ethno state? Maybe. And I don't really want to live like directly north of that. I think that's fucking weird. I think that sucks. Like, I don't know. It's just not for me. And it can be for you, but it's not for me. And there's other places in the world. So I'll probably just leave. I'll probably just dip if that's gonna happen. I hope everybody gets quadruple vaccinated, global warming, Toyota Prius, and remember to do your hormones and, check your privilege.